Charles Dickens' story of love, wealth, guilt, and redemption. Imagine being a poor orphan who believes that money can transform your entire life. Imagine believing that wealth can make you worthy of love. And imagine discovering, years later, that the person who changed your life was not the person you expected. This is the story of Pip, the central character of Charles Dickens' Great Expectations. Pip is a young orphan living in the English countryside with his older sister and her husband, Joe Golgrey, a kind-hearted blacksmith. Pip's life is simple and difficult. He has little money, little education, and almost no hope of becoming anything more than a poor village boy. But everything changes one frightening evening. While visiting his parents' graves, Pip encounters an escaped convict named Abel Magwitch. The man is desperate. He threatens Pip and demands food and a file to remove his chains. Terrified, Pip steals what the convict needs from his home. But the next morning, something unexpected happens. The convict is captured. And Pip believes the frightening encounter is over. He is wrong. Not long afterward, Pip is invited to the strange and decaying home of Miss Havisham, a wealthy woman who lives surrounded by the remains of a wedding that never happened. She wears an old wedding dress. Her clocks have stopped. And her house seems frozen in time. There, Pip meets Estella, a beautiful and proud young girl. She immediately makes him ashamed of his rough clothes, his poor education, and his life as a blacksmith's apprentice. Pip falls deeply in love with her. And from that moment, he begins dreaming of becoming a gentleman. He believes that if he becomes rich and educated, Estella might finally love him. Years pass. Then Pip receives extraordinary news. An unknown benefactor has given him a large fortune. He is to leave his village and travel to London. Pip immediately believes he knows who is behind his new wealth. He assumes Miss Havisham is secretly preparing him to marry Estella. His expectations grow. In London, Pip becomes educated, fashionable, and wealthy. But something inside him begins to change. The boy who once loved Joe and appreciated simple kindness becomes embarrassed by his humble origins. He begins to distance himself from Joe. And although he has gained money, he has not gained happiness. Then Estella returns. She is still beautiful, still distant, and still incapable of giving Pip the love he wants. Pip continues to chase her, believing that one day she will change. But Estella warns him. She tells him that she has no heart for love. Pip refuses to listen. He is too deeply trapped by his expectations. Then one stormy night, a visitor arrives at Pip's home. It is the escaped convict he encountered as a child. Abel Magwitch. Pip is horrified. Magwitch reveals that he has secretly made Pip's fortune. He had never forgotten the frightened boy who helped him years ago. After escaping and building a new life, Magwitch devoted his money to transforming Pip into a gentleman. Pip suddenly understands the truth. His great expectations did not come from Miss Havisham. They came from the very man he once feared. And the realization destroys his illusions. The wealth he thought would make him superior suddenly feels meaningless. Worse still, Pip realizes how badly he has treated Joe. The man who loved him like a brother had never cared about Pip's money or social position. Joe had only cared about Pip. Pip finally understands that he had been searching for love in the wrong places. Meanwhile, Magwitch is captured. Pip tries desperately to help the man who changed his life. But Magwitch becomes seriously ill. As Pip stays beside him, something beautiful happens. For the first time, Pip no longer sees Magwitch as a criminal. He sees him as a human being. A man who risked everything because he wanted to give a poor boy the future he never had. Pip tells him that his daughter is alive, Estella. Magwitch dies peacefully, knowing that the child he lost long ago became part of Pip's world. After Magwitch's death, Pip loses his fortune. His great expectations disappear. But strangely, Pip has never been richer in character. He returns to Joe. And for the first time, he admits his mistakes. Joe forgives him without hesitation. There is no anger. No revenge. Only kindness. Pip realizes that the man he once considered too ordinary to belong in his new life was actually one of the finest people he had ever known. Years later, Pip encounters Estella again. Life has changed them both. Estella has suffered. Pip has matured. And the pride and illusions that once separated them have faded. Whether their future together is certain or not, something has changed. They finally understand each other as human beings rather than as symbols of wealth, beauty, or social status. And Pip understands the greatest lesson of his life. Money cannot buy love. Social status cannot create character. And becoming a gentleman has nothing to do with expensive clothes or a large house. A true gentleman is measured by compassion, by loyalty, by forgiveness, and by the courage to admit when he has been wrong. That is what makes Great Expectations such a powerful story. It begins with a frightened orphan dreaming of becoming someone important. But it ends with a man discovering that the people who truly mattered were never the wealthy or powerful ones. They were the people who loved him when he had nothing. Joe, Magwitch, and even the painful lessons he learned from Estella. Pip spent years believing that his future depended on wealth. But in the end, his greatest transformation came when he learned to let go of his expectations. Because sometimes, the life we dream about is not the life we need. And sometimes, losing everything we thought we wanted is how we finally discover what truly matters.